I do a video like this every year where about a month before the NBA playoffs start, I make a video talking about if the NBA playoffs started today, what would happen? And this year is no different. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe. My channel has hit a bit of a dead period lately, and we need to hit some more subs. But without any further explanation, let's get started. Starting off in the East would be the Brooklyn Nets, the 8 seed, and the Miami Heat, the 1 seed. This matchup is a little bit awkward as both of those teams have similar skill levels, although the Brooklyn Nets would have to pay a fine for Kyrie Irving to play playoff home games, but it's going to make it even harder because Ben Simmons will not be playing for the remainder of the season this year. Sure, the Brooklyn Nets are a very solid team with lots of role players, but not the best suited bench, and because they have all this odds stacked against them, Kevin Durant can't just carry them all the way. And in the end, I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to lose in 6. In this scenario, the 2 seed Philadelphia 76ers, who by the way have been on a scary run lately, would play the 7 seed Toronto Raptors. And this is a rematch from the 2019 NBA playoffs in the second round. The Raptors have some great talent, I'm not gonna lie. Scottie Barnes is probably gonna win Rookie of the Year. I love Pascal Siakam, he's very underrated. And Fred VanVleet is their star player who is also incredibly underrated. They got some role players like Gary Trent Jr. who do their thing and do their job. But the Philadelphia 76ers are a much more talented team. You have guys like James Harden and Joel Embiid, obviously, who have been popping off lately. And Tyrese Maxey has been a breakout young star for them. And with the Sixers' powerful scoring punch with guys like Tobias Harris averaging 20 points per game, it just looks like that the Philadelphia 76ers will win this series in a gentleman's sweep 5 games. The 3 seed Bucks would play the 6 seed Cleveland Cavaliers. The Milwaukee Bucks are the defending NBA champions, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are a young core, rising young team, but they are just not the type of team that the Bucks are. The Bucks have a huge advantage because they are the title winners from last year, and because the Cleveland Cavaliers do not have that much experience, I think it's an automatic win for Milwaukee, especially because Cleveland's one of their best players, Colin Sexton, has been out for the whole season. And if he was there, they would be a much better team, maybe like the 4 seed. Unfortunately, that did not occur, and this season they only had Mobley and Garland. So in the end, I think the Bucks will win in 4 games. This one, I think, will be the best first round series yet if this happens. And this will be the Chicago Bulls versus Boston Celtics, which I think will be the best playoff series we've seen in years. Well, the best first round series we've seen in years. Both of these teams are incredibly evenly matched with about 3 stars. The Chicago Bulls have Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and DeMar DeRozan, who has been having an MVP caliber season. And then the Boston Celtics have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And overall, these teams' role players and their overall supporting cast have just been very, very helpful for both of their teams. But when you look at the team's roster construction, the Chicago Bulls are just a wee bit better. They're a whole lot deeper. And in the end, I think this series will go to 7 games. But the Chicago Bulls will pull out and win in 7. Moving on to the West, we've got the 1-seeded Suns and the 8-seeded Clippers. I don't have too much to say about this one. All I'm really going to talk about is the Phoenix Suns' deepness. Of course they have their stars in CP3 and D-Book, but their deepness is just absolutely incredible. Their roster construction is just insane. Like, if you take a look at their role players, Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, you start to see a pattern. They're all good at doing their job. DeAndre Ayton is their primary rim protector and scorer in the paint. And also, Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder are their scorers from outside, and they do a very good job of complementing Booker and CP3. And the Clippers just do not have that, and in the end, Phoenix will win in 4 games. Next up, we got the 2-seeded Grizzlies and the 7-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. Look, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been an incredible team this season. They're gonna make the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2018. And a lot of this credit has to go to Patrick Beverley, who is going to be getting in Ja Morant and a lot of the Grizzlies players' heads in this series. But because of the Minnesota Timberwolves' lack of playoff experience, they're not going to be a great team. Granted, the Memphis Grizzlies do not have much playoff experience either, but last year they were the 8th seed and played against the Utah Jazz in the first round. And although getting gentlemen swept in 5 games, they still have somewhat experience. And because I have the Minnesota Timberwolves going to the finals this year, I'm picking them to win it in a close 7-game series. The 3-seeded Golden State Warriors and the 6-seeded Denver Nuggets. Look, I think that the Denver Nuggets will win this series, especially because Stephen Curry will just be coming off an injury playing in this series. It has been reported he will play in the playoffs, but he might be a little bit sluggish considering he will not have played in about 20 games. Not gonna lie, the Nuggets have had some injuries too. Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are gone, but the playoffs are a battle of star power, and the Nuggets still have their former MVP from last season, Nikola Jokic. Both of these teams are very deep, but in the end, Denver wins in a 7-game series upset. Next, we have the 4-seeded Jazz versus the 5-seeded Mavericks. The Utah Jazz have had a lot of playoff experience. Despite getting knocked out in the second round last year, they're still one of the deepest teams in the league with one of the best defensive ratings in the last 5 years. And that has been thanks to Rudy Gobert, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner. Donovan Mitchell leads their offensive powerhouse along with Mike Conley and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Joe Ingles got injured for them and then traded to the Portland Trailblazers, so it's going to be a bit hard for them because that's one shooter down for them. But they have Bogdan Bogdanovic and Jordan Clarkson, who, big shout out, is probably going to win 6th Man of the Year this year. I'm not saying the Dallas Mavericks aren't good, they completely are. Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the league right now, but he doesn't have a great supporting cast, especially because they don't have a big who can contend with Gobert, especially considering Kristaps Porzingis got traded to the Wizards. And because of that, Gobert will be the X factor, and in the end, the Utah Jazz will win in 6 games. I hope you enjoyed my predictions, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. Click subscribe, turn notifications on, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm your boy Hyper, who are basketball, and we're out.